Hi everyone, today I want to share a fun card using the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set and the Detailed Pumpkin dies. This is really fun. Every year I kind of look for the leaf set and the pumpkin set and the snowman set and snowflake sets in the holiday area catalog, and so I wasn't disappointed at all this year. This was a really pretty pumpkin set, and so I wanted to use this in an upcoming stamp camp, and then I thought, you know, what else can I do with it? And you know, pumpkins, this particularly, and actually this little leaf here, made me think of Cinderella for some reason. You know how the fairy godmother takes the little pumpkin and it turns into the coach. So then I wanted to make a Cinderella pumpkin, which we're not going to do at Stamp Camp, but for those of you who are coming this weekend, that's not what we're going to do. So this is something we're not going to do, so I'm not giving you any sneak peeks, but this is a card that I think would be fun for people to make, and it uses some blending brushes and or sponging, whichever one you happen to have. And at first I was thinking Cinderella, so I went balmy blue and then this really pretty celebration paper, because we're nearing the end of celebration. But what happens at the end of every celebration is things start to sell out. So I was super bummed because this paper is sold out. So after I created this card and got it all ready, I was busy for a couple days and then realized it was too late. You can no longer get it. So if you really had your heart set on the bedazzling paper to make these little Cinderella pumpkins, I feel bad that I'm showing it to you. So then I came up with a different color, and I think this is super fun. So it doesn't remind me of Cinderella, but it is a really fun look. So we're going to do it anyway. And also, if you wanted to do Cinderella, you can use silver glimmer paper, which I have a lot of, but we no longer carry in the catalog. But there's also silver foil that is in the catalog. You can get silver foil. So here I did a version in silver foil. I do have some of this bedazzling paper. If you purchase the Pretty Pumpkins from me before the end of celebration, and you really wished you could have gotten this bedazzling, I can choose something else, but I'll send you a couple sheets of the bedazzling. I can cut it in a couple sheets so you can make at least one or two of the Cinderella cards, because I feel bad that I'm showing it and you can't do it. So if you already have it, because this is something that most of my customers chose actually, is this bedazzling paper. If not, choose silver foil or rainbow glimmer paper. Really fun. There's also some ombre paper too. So there's lots of choices for some sparkling pumpkins. So I'm going to show you how to make the card anyway, even though my initial idea is no longer good. Okay, so these are the dies. Super cute. You've got dies for all the images, and then some extra detail pumpkin dies that we're going to be using here. So we're going to use this one, and this one for this card. And I'm going to show you both the Cinderella pumpkin and the glimmer paper pumpkin. There's some tips and tricks for both, so hang with me here. I'll try not to be too lengthy. So I've got a piece of balmy blue for my base, and then I've got some basic white for the inside and the outside. Now the inside piece is 4 by 5 1/4, but this one here is a little smaller because I wanted to show a little bit of this bedazzling paper. So this white piece here is 3 3/4 by 5, and then I've got this bedazzling at 4 and 5 1/4. Okay, so let's get those out. Those are all our pieces. So we're going to start with the Whisper White. So on the smaller piece for the front, don't get them confused. On the smaller one, you're going to do your blended background. So I'm just taking a blending brush. If you don't have a blending brush, you can use a sponge. That works great too. You're just going to get it inked up and just kind of give yourself a soft sponged background. When you first touch the sponge to paper, try not to put it down hard. You can either go off the edge just to get that initial bit of ink off, just so you don't get that harsh, darker color when you first touch it down. It happens and it's really hard to blend out. But I didn't want to, sometimes I swipe off the card and then start going, but I didn't want to do that because I wanted white edges all the way around. So I'm just being very careful when I'm putting it down. And I'm moving it around like so. I want to make sure it kind of shows up around all the pumpkins. All right, I think I've got it good and covered. Next, I want to, on another piece of basic white, like a scrap paper, I'm going to use my pumpkin that has all the pretty little leaves in it. Now this time I'm going to ink it in Versamark, so this is an Emboss Resist. So I've got Versamark down on this one, and then I also want to do this little vine here. If I have room, it's kind of hard to see because Versamark is clear. I think I can put it right here. Yep, okay. And now I'm going to emboss this in clear embossing powder. I need a little scrap paper. And we're going to heat this up. Normally when I do the heat tool on my videos, I mute the sound because it's kind of loud, and I speed it up because it just, you know, it's just kind of boring to watch, but it's fun when it turns color or melts. Now while I have my heat tool out, I also want to put my sentiment on my card. So I'm going to use the So Thankful for You. I just think it's a really pretty scripty font. And I'm going to put that down in the top right corner. And I'm going to emboss that in black. Okay, so now we're going to blend on top of our clear embossed images to kind of make them reveal themselves. Isn't that fun? All right, and we're going to do the same over here. Needs a little more. So I really want to make it show up, so you might have to go dark. All right, I think I've got all the areas showing up. If you haven't used the blending brushes, they're really nice, and actually you rinse these right under your tap water and clear them, and you can use them for multiple colors. They're really nice. Okay, now let's cut out our pumpkins. Okay, now we need to do our detailed pumpkins, and I want to show you a tip. This is going to go underneath my card. See right here? So that's a big piece of this kind of beautiful paper, and rather than use it completely. I cut my pumpkins out of the center here, and no one's going to know that because I'm going to place this on top. So this is a way to kind of conserve your really gorgeous bedazzling paper, or your rainbow glimmer paper, whatever it is you're using, your silver foil, because you've got this big space that no one's going to see anyway, so you might as well cut some things out of here. You can even cut things out of here that you're not even going to use right now, like maybe you want to cut something pretty from over here. You can get a heart or some stars, whatever you want to cut. That's my tip for you on how to kind of hoard your paper. Okay, so that's what I mean by cutting it out of this. You're going to layer this right on top, and no one will know that you've got big holes under there. Alright, now this paper, it's almost like fabric on top of paper. It's really kind of a weird texture. So it cut nicely, so I'm not going to have any problems, but I like to turn it over, kind of see where I'm poking. Okay, like I said, it's a very weird papery type, oops, I missed one, papery type, fabric-y, I don't know what it is. It's cool looking though. I really like it, the texture of it, the little circles of it. I'm going to put it up close so you can see. It's different than glimmer paper, so it's really kind of fun. Alright, let's put our card together. So, I am going to glue. I found that liquid glue works good on this kind of bumpy textured paper. I'll leave that and get out my base, my balmy blue. Alright, now there is a product, there's an adhesive that you can put down before you cut this out so that the whole thing kind of turns into a sticker. It's called an adhesive sheet, and I always forget to use it. Sometimes it even makes cutting these things out easier. And I don't know why I forget that we have it. But if you had that, you could have just peeled the backing off and stuck this right down. And I like to just throw a block on these little detailed ones just to get them good contact. Alright, now for this, I'm going to throw some dimensionals on the back. And then with this one, I'm going to put mini dimensionals. I'm only going to put them on this side because this is going to overlap. So I'm going to throw some mini dimensionals down. This one kind of goes right in the middle. And then this one, I only put the adhesive on the one side because it's going to make contact with this popped up one on the other side, so I'm going to throw a little bit of adhesive. And then on our vine, a little bit of adhesive. And while that is drying, I'm going to work on the inside. And all I'm going to do for the inside is I'm going to put this down. I love this. If friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. So cute. So let's put that down. I'm going to put it right in the middle. And then I wanted to bring some blue in here, some sort of an image, and I went with one of the leaves from the set. And I just kind of placed them on either side. And now as I'm putting it down, I see that I used the smaller one, which was an additional one of these in case I made a mistake. So that's okay. It's still got a nice, it's got a larger border than I intended, but it still looks really good. Here was the intended border. I think actually the smaller border is pretty. All right, so that is my Cinderella colors. Now I have some different tips for how to do it when you're kind of doing this ombre look, and so let's take a look at that. And again, if you didn't get that bedazzling paper, it looks really pretty in the silver foil too. I might have done the ribbon on the silver foil. I thought the ribbon wasn't necessary with the glimmer paper, this bedazzled paper, because it's got so much shimmer and shine going on that I thought it was maybe even distracting. So on the silver foil, maybe some of that white crinkled seam binding ribbon would have looked good there. Okay, so this one, I'm using a white card base because there's enough color going on here. So I've got a base in basic white, and I used my smaller one of these, so I'm going to have to trim this down on the inside of that one. That was what it was for. See, now these are the same size. So I'm going to cut this down just a little bit, 1/4 of an inch on each side. There we go. All right, now my difference on this one is I'm going to do 2 colors with the sponging. I'm going to add some Stella splatter, and then we're going to cut out our pumpkins again with that paper. So this is really fun. I love the ombre look, so I'm going from orange to pink. Let me show you the paper. This is the rainbow, glimmer paper. So I'm using the bottom here, and I cut 2 bases out of this. So you can do some purpley pumpkins, some orange and, orange, that's green, Beth. Greens and blues up to purple. So this is really fun paper. I did a seahorse in this, really pretty, great paper. So here I wanted to go with kind of a somewhat pumpkin-y colors, and I wanted the dark pink to be at the top. So when I cut out my pumpkins, my detailed pumpkins, I'm going to make sure that I have that pink at the top, because I want to carry that ombre look through the whole thing. So I'm starting with the Mango Melody at the bottom and going up to the Magenta Madness. Now you could go like this, straight up and down, and I think it would still be covered. And then we're going to do our pumpkin. Now I didn't want it to be all Mango Melody, so I did kind of put it up slightly, because I wanted a little bit of that coming through. So that's how I cut that out. And I need to go use my bigger Big Shot. I used that mini on the stamped ones, but that doesn't fit right. Well, let me try it. The big one is so big. All right, now whenever I use glimmer paper, I like to go all the way and then come back, just to kind of cut it twice. You can even go a 3rd time with that real detailed one. I didn't on the bedazzling, and this one cuts even easier, so I don't know that it's necessary. And then I like to look at the back and kind of see, did it look like I cut it all? It does. So then I'm done. Okay, we've got our pieces. Now we need to do our stamping. All right, so like I said, I want to do an ombre look. So I am going to start with the Mango Melody, and I'm going to do that at the bottom. we're going to do Magenta Madness. My Magenta Madness ink pad is a complete mess, just so you know. I added some re-inker to the lid to paint once, and I spilled it, and I got some in the track, and I've cleaned it with a Q-tip 100 times, and I still can't get it out. So, I like the color though, so I keep using it. Alright, so let's add that. Okay. Now I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I want it to dry before I emboss on top. Sometimes all that friction and the ink makes the embossing powder kind of clump all over the whole thing and not on the words. So I'm gonna move on to my stamping. Alright, so I need my pretty pumpkin with the leaves, and then I need the vine. And we're going to emboss in clear. Okay, sometimes there's enough ink still on your little sponge to sponge away. Let's see. I think I need a little bit more of the Mango Melody. When I mentioned earlier that these rinse under just tap water, they do. They rinse nicely. However, they take forever to dry. So it is nice. They come in a 3-pack. So you can have one clean ready to go. But if you think you need more than 3, now I don't have one for every color. That's kind of overkill. But I do have maybe 2 packs because I use maybe 2 colors or maybe 3 at a stamp camp, and then I've got to clean them, and then that means that they're out of commission for the rest of the day. This is actually made up of a ton of tiny little bristles. I mean, it's amazing. I wonder if you can see. And so it just takes forever for all that water to dry out of there. So maybe getting 2 packs of these brushes is not a bad idea. And you can kind of say some of the red colors stain after a while, just a little bit, like you get like a hint, you can tell it was used for something red, but no color's going to come off. Red kind of does that, or Magenta Madness probably won't clean off completely, even though it won't transfer onto a paper. So I kind of use one of the, I've got 6 of them, so maybe I use one always for the yellows, one for greens, that kind of a thing. All right, let's cut these out. Let's see if there we go. I couldn't find my little machine for a minute. I set it down next to me on the floor. Okay. I don't know if I can cut them at the same time because I put those close together. So let me see if I can. No, I'm too close together, so I'll have to go through twice. Okay, let's stamp on our background here. I'm gonna do that Friends one on the front this time. I need to clean it because I think I used it with black a minute ago. Well, I'm gonna use it with black again, but I'm gonna use Versamark. So let's clean this. Sorry for my head. Okay, and then I want to do something with the ribbon. I want to show you this ribbon here. I've got some ombre ribbon going too. So let me show you that. I'm actually using pale papaya. Let me cut enough here to go around and tie a bow. It's a little bit longer. Okay. And then all I'm doing here is I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends, or you can use your regular Stampin' Write markers too. Either one works great. Stampin' Blends I like because it kind of bleeds through both sides at once, and then I don't have to turn it over and do it again. Whereas the Stampin' Write markers, you might have to do both sides. Stampin' Blends also dries really fast. The Stampin' Write markers are water-based, which is nice for so many techniques. You can color directly onto your stamps, but they're water-based, which means they need to dry a little bit with when you do ribbons. So pale papaya is so pale that you can use it for colors that are not even pale papaya, like I am here. I'm using it with Mango Melody, and it works great. It's such a pale background that it's almost non-existent, so you can use it as a background ribbon in different colors too. And the Stampin' Blends, you can saturate it on top enough that you really don't get a lot of pickup of papaya underneath it. All right, so this one is Magenta Madness. Right, now we are assembling. Oh, I only want the ribbon to go around the white, so let's put that down first. Oh, I forgot. I want this down first. This one is so lacy and detailed that putting the ribbon behind it doesn't make a lot of difference, and I wanted it to make contact with the paper with the glue, so I'm going to put this one down first so that I know it's stuck down good. That went the wrong way. Alright, trying to, oh my goodness, why can't I get that even? Trying to get my ribbon even here. Okay, now I'm going to tie a bow. Okay, on goes our stamped pumpkin, pretty much right in the center. And our other glimmer pumpkin. And again, we're putting a couple of the puff dimensionals. I call them puffies. Sorry. A couple mini dimensionals. And then some liquid glue. And then our vine, here it is. And then I just wanted to grab a glue dot, and I like to kind of glue my bow where I want it to be. So I am going to, oops, I should have let my vine dry first. I'm going to manipulate my bow a little bit. And make it be how I want it to be. I want it to come down instead of up. And there is my ombre friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. I gotta do something on the inside of that one. I'll think about how to do that. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you'll check out the blending and the emboss resist. Here is the blue one, and I bet it would look really cute in any color, really. I just thought that blue reminded me of Cinderella. Here's the silver foil, so you can get that if you don't have any of that bedazzling. And again, check out that rainbow glimmer paper. It is super pretty and so fun. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you'll subscribe, hit the bell so you'll get notified of future videos. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.